Oh, hey everybody, POTU David here I'm trying to get into a rhythm of like doing a broadcast around this time of day. And then uh which is my morning. I'm like literally waking up and then another check-in after my work, which is like after midnight type of thing. I'm eventually going to phase out the broadcasting to all the different things outside of the YouTube channel. I'm letting everyone know that I'm existing and I'm doing this process here. My goal here is to build up an organization of Patreon subscribers, the revenue stream of which will free up my time to actually convert the content that I'm pumping out like crazy into coursework. So you don't have to like watch 3 hours worth of stuff to get like maybe 30 minutes of great content out of it. Yeah, I was literally Monday afternoon, I went on a rant for 3 hours. It was really, really good if you wanna get to know me and what motivates me and some of my life experience on a variety of topics. That was a pretty good podcast or vidcast type of thing. Alright, today we're gonna look at the markets. I've got an announcement. So, like, I've released content to Patreon today. I sort of kinda was forced to because I now have, Patreon members, a Patreon member. I don't know, I didn't check to see what the membership thing was. I still am learning how to interface with a lot of these things. So if you read or see something that seems a little weird or off or whatever, just drop me a note and we'll fix it. Um, I've learned the hard way. Now I'm used to being a perfectionist all of my life, so I'll give you a tip. Success is sloppy. I should add that to the affirmations video. In fact, let me play the affirmations video because you're going to see this a lot. So LHF means low hanging fruit. That means take the easy money. Most people stay in trades and processes longer than they need to because of fear and scarcity. Just, oh, wow, that's easy money. What's it going to do? Oh, it's probably wavering. I'll probably just get out now. You do that when you know there's plenty of opportunity. Now, when you're attached and you're afraid of stuff, you're always trying to protect, you're always trying to protect, you're always trying to protect, and you're always trying to eke out the last 50 cents or last couple dollars. And, I'll be honest with you, greed sometimes serves you, right? I mean, I've been there where it's like, okay, I've made my 30% and I made it like in like a minute, and I'm looking at the charts and it's like, wow, this is going to keep going up for the next couple hours. What do I do? Well, let it run. So instead of getting 30% ROI, you get 600% ROI. So there's nothing wrong with like being strategic, but a lot of folks just like they're living in fear and scarcity. So let me play this little video. And it's just my affirmations over the last few years I found very, very helpful if you're trading. If it starts. So now I realize that a lot of what I do here is like my initial intention was just like say stuff once and then move on. But there's people that are going to be tuning into this and, repeating certain concepts here and there as part of it is part of just training you, even if you're not a Patreon subscriber person. What else are we gonna be talking today? I've tracked down, so like it's health and wealth, and actually, I should it's health, wealth, and relationships because those are the big three, right? If you don't have those things, it's going to be hard to really be happy and successful. So this everyone else is selling you courses on money, or they're selling you courses on relationships, or they're selling you courses on health, and it's just like that's a system, it's a process. So I work with a gentleman, and we notice that we're both kind of eat the same things. Now I'm on a different program. I'm actually actively trying to lose weight and reduce my needs for diabetic meds, and I've been successful so far, and I got a ways to go. He's had a gastric bypass thing, which was kind of successful for him, but he started gaining weight again. Why? Well, if you return to eating in a way, a lifestyle that isn't healthy for you, it doesn't matter if you're just going to return, right? And we were joking about that. He's just like, "Yeah, we do this because it's simple and convenient, and I know the nutrition is there for me." It's like, dude, I don't even have to teach him. He knows this stuff. Really great guy. I'm not gonna use his name, out of respect, because who knows? I don't even no one knows that I do this. Okay, they know that I do cryptocurrency, but they may not know that I'm broadcasting things. It's not a big deal. I don't really care. Uh, they've had the benefit of years watching me start from nothing and talk about these things, and, I've offered to train family and friends for years now. And now I've gotten to a point where it's like, okay, I've got enough stuff figured out that I'm willing to take this to a little bit bigger mission, if you would, type of thing. I'm also going to, at the end of my videos, I'm going to be sharing with you Diana, my partner's transformation. And eventually, I'll probably just come up with a couple different presentations, but I only have one that I made for her after actually right at the first of the year. And it's really cool. I love the music behind it. And I think I figured out a way of presenting it. I tried it yesterday and it just didn't work properly. And anyway, I'm using, what am I using? I'm using Restream. It's really cool. It's just not really inexpensive. And I'm kind of in the middle tier. That I can't do high def unless I spend hundreds of dollars more. And I'm not willing to do that for what my needs are. This is fine. And eventually, I want to cinch this down just to YouTube. If you want to help me out, watch us on YouTube, switch to YouTube, follow on YouTube, because YouTube monetizes. Eventually, if there's a large enough audience, I just come on, I share whatever I'm wanting to talk to that day. If you tune into it, you're actually supporting the project, me financially, which is just by watching. And right now, it's not a monetized channel. I'm not going to spend a grand to buy a monetized channel. I've got other things going on, and it's cool. It's just cool. It's amazing what we can do with technology today. So let's get into this. Why are bots? I should. Yeah. I'm a little ahead of myself. I'm trying to keep things organized. So I wanted to show you the resources that are released. And meanwhile, while I switch gears here, I'm gonna play a little thing. Wait a second. I don't have my resources even ready to share with you. Sorry about that. Let me do that. Here we go. Can we do that? All right. Here's this little one. This is kind of cute. I like this one. So the ready for a way out is like most of us, we don't have a way out. It's one of the reasons why we self-medicate, with whatever drugs, legal or non-legal, we have, drinking, watching too much TV, just whatever, distracting ourselves because we're beings that like to be challenged in some ways. We like to think, we like to have goals, but you have to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So that's where we're going to start. This is where we're always going to start. Okay. But let's turn this on here. Oh, all right. So this is not the page I want to have up first, but okay, as long as it's here. This is Coin Market Cap. If you're going to be doing crypto, this is kind of your friend. The main thing I'm looking for here is the market cap, which is up here. See this up here? So can we zoom in like the last 7 days? All right. So what is this telling me? So we're above $1 trillion, right? Barely. We're $62 billion above a trillion. I think we dipped below a trillion, or we almost did. So anyway, if you want to know when right now we're in the commercial adoption phase, and there's a little bit of consumer adoption happening, right? You hear about the big rally coming up. Well, the big rally is all about there's several different rallies, right? But the big one, the big cycle is commercial adoption. And right now we had as high as $3 trillion, and then we had like the collapse of Luna and other sorts of things. So big money got scared shitless, and they pulled all their money out of the market. But we still have about $1 trillion global market with the people who didn't get scared off by that and know how to deal with the market properly. And now, when big money and regulation stabilize things, right? The criminals are realizing that, wow, cryptocurrency really isn't the best way to go. US dollars is still the best way to go because you can't, there's no ledger with dollars, but with cryptocurrency, there is an incorruptible ledger based on the technology. It's revolutionary. So when money comes into the markets right now, commercial money, the prices go up, and it's usually Bitcoin and Ethereum. And it's like all ships rise in an ocean type of thing, right? Rising waters raise all ships. That's kind of the process. Now, commercial money's, there's huge amounts of money. There's money in gold. There's all sorts of money out there. So as money flows into the markets, the prices go up. When money flows out of the markets, prices go down. And it's just an ebb and flow. And commercial hedge fund managers, businesses that have big money flowing in and out, literally control the market right now. It does. And then news stories and rumors, and so it's just until it grows to like 17, $20 trillion or more, it's going to have this kind of volatility. And that volatility, however, is kind of where your opportunity is, because you need things to move in order to make money off from things. So that's kind of what bots are for. So just wanted to show that with you. So right now we're above $1 trillion. Last 24-hour volume, it looks like $89 billion has flowed in. Hence, we've had a little bit of a rally. And why did that money roll in? Because the U.S. government bailed out a major bank that was facilitating commercial money transactions. For the consumers, you can deal with crypto on SoFi and PayPal and Venmo. I mean, it's showing up everywhere, and all the big companies are working on it. Don't let the FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt publications. And it's manipulated. Already wealthy people are making tons of money in crypto, like this last little dip in the bank failure. There was one news article that came out about this major hedge fund was buying the dip. Well, of course they were. They probably had insider information that the bank was going down, and they might even have communications with the regulators and stuff saying, "Hey, let us know when you're going to do the news announcement." And they probably set up a bot to buy as it was going down. Um, I would, but I always wonder how do these guys know like a few minutes in advance of major movements? It's like, well, yeah, because they're in the know, right? It's not fair. It is what it has always been this way, by the way. It's always been this way, by the way. That's how our elected leaders in the United States become millionaires. They know about a government contract going or government contracting being pulled, and they're allowed to play the market with insider information. It's one of the perks. And they're trying, are they ever going to give that up? Probably not. If they get caught in their hands with a cookie jar, someone writes them a memo. They get a memo saying naughty boy, naughty girl. Yeah, so much for accountability. All right, don't get me started on political stuff. All right, so Patreon, I just released some resources, and what resources did I release? Well, it's part of what I want to show you. Um, it is a big deal because there's a lot to. So in here, there's this link. Yeah, I know. If you scroll back, you'll see, my working directory just for this particular project. And this is in one account, but I'll probably be moving all this to a different place. But for now, this is where it's at. So, right here, the access links. If you click on this, this is actually going to open this up. You click here, it opens things up. And oh, look, I have spelling and grammar errors. I might as well fix those while I'm in here. All right. Jeez. Why didn't I get these last night when I was making this? All right. That's cool. It's better. So anyway, I'm going to have a control document, um, which hopefully will be edited before anyone sees it. And what I'll be doing is I'll be adding lists of resources here. I'm still kind of working out a mechanism because folks, I've got data all over the place. Different editors, just 2 years at least specific to cryptocurrency, and then 20 years related to the POTU stuff you hear me talking about. And I've got some of this stuff are like almost entire books, almost ready to publish. And I've decided that I think the best way of doing this is just to pretend like we're all starting over and we're just going to release the information in a process, and I'm going to develop a mechanism so it's just available. And when you come in to Patreon, whether it's today, next month, years from now, it'll make sense. So, anyway, and so I've got my lotto calculator. I did a deep dive into this calculator over the weekend, so I'm not gonna redo that. What I probably will do is I'll go back to that video and then clean it up and simplify it and turn it into a 15-minute training video or something. But this is like, like if you have a lotto pool at work, like with 3 people, or I think we've got a lotto pool with 4 people. And depending on what state you are, you can go down here and figure out where your taxes are, and you can put in the taxes, and you can pretty much figure out exactly how much money you will net if you take the, cash option. I know, I haven't. And why am I doing it this way? Because at a certain level, well, why don't just go after the full $2.2 billion times 20 years? You know what? I should probably put that up here as an option so you can, compare the annuity versus I just it wasn't that the people I'm work with are just they want their money now, and then, I'm probably the only person in the group that could probably actually take the money and you pay half in taxes, but you get all the money across 20 years, but you still pay taxes on it, right? And there's reasons to take out the but anyway, I'll probably do another training on strategies with the win the big lot or have a big windfall. Like if you receive an inheritance, like what do you do with the money? Well, that's part of what DDTC trains people to do. It's all about what's your lifestyle, what's your upgraded lifestyle, what's your dream lifestyle. I know of a family, the custodian, the children, the parents died, I think, tragically or something, but they're billionaires and they don't even know it. And they're raising them, having a normal childhood. The problem is they're going to be billionaires and they're not being trained, as far as my observation, on how to be billionaires. So, it's not a criticism. It's just, it's you'll hear me use language like peasant mindedness, and that applies to all of us. We have all been, including Elon Musk, we were born and raised to be peasants, right? We weren't born and raised to be rulers. Very few of us have been. And those who have been born and raised to rule generally have been born and raised to be ruthless about it, not to be stewards about it. And then sometimes, you have this whole lineage thing and royalty, and you just end up having a mixed bag of nuts every once in a while. And every once in a while, you have got a good ruler. It's just like, we need to create a system where we train everybody how to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, but they have that sovereignty of their home as if they were sovereignty of a nation or the world. What if we all were on the same page with the same principles that actually work for everybody? It's not about socialism or communism. You don't need to build pyramids where an elite few are the only people that actually get to have a good life. We have all the knowledge and resources on this planet to create that for ourselves. We manufacture poverty. We do it for power. And why? Because of fear and scarcity. Where does that come from? Peasant-minded upbringing. It is. Even once people break free of that, whether they inherited it or born into it, they're always afraid, and it rules, and it doesn't need to be. So that's part of my bigger mission, and you'll hear me repeat that a lot. And I play with it. All right, so let me just close this out. That was the lotto calculator, right? And here's the big reveal today. Of course, last night about 4 in the morning, I realized that there's a minor error in here, but I released this bot. I did a training on this privately to current DDTC members that are not necessarily part of Patreon, friends and family. It's kind of like my inner circle, if you want to call it that. And then I discovered there was a variety of errors in here, like we had divide by zero errors here and if and stuff. And right now we have starting funds $250, current funds $250, ROI 100%. That's wrong. Anyway, I think this is a calculation depending on what you're doing can be formulated in different ways. I think what I have is I have my little quick and dirty formula in here, not the exact formula. So I need to fix that. It's not a big deal. Um, as you can see, if you've seen my other videos, I have all this information about my bot trades in here. See, this one's empty, right? So what I need to do is I need to create a training specific to this. So to step you through how to do it. And then here's the exploring cycles, right? I added so many rows to this thing, like there's like 6,000 or so rows. How many is there? No, 7,012 rows. So you could see how many cycles it would take to double your money with an ROI of 0.01%. Now, I'm going to probably evolve this so that you can like type in a CD or a bank account or something like that. I haven't gotten there. It's just you should already know that your bank CD at whatever it is, what is it? First of all, it doesn't compound, I don't think, daily or anything like that. Bank CD rates today. Should be using like, oh, it can earn 9% or 12% APY. Wow. Considering when I wow. That's just ridiculous. So 12%, if this is correct. So, so how long would it take you to double your money roughly? I think CDs they don't compound, or do they compound annually? It's been so long, but let's just assume that they don't compound just for ballparking. So it's going to take you 8 1/3 years to double your money. Okay. If you're starting with $250, you can get bank CD. You can't get a bank CD for $5, I don't think. Um, Egads. I'm not going to do the calculation. I did a deep dive in this. I wasn't mentally ready for that, and I'm still waking up, folks. So anyway, it's going to take you a long time. I think the number of missions. How many missions is it to become a millionaire with $250? You can do this. This is quick. It's 12 missions. Okay, so times 12. Not 99.9999 years. If and that's assuming it's compounding. And I don't think they compound. I may be wrong. I may be wrong. Don't quote me. Never quote me. Always listen, when I say something or anyone says anything, even if it's an authority, if it's important, do your own research. I am wrong a lot on a lot of different things. And I can say something as if it's like total authority. My coworkers laugh at me all the time because they'll cross check something and say, David, you're a little off on that one. I'm like, well, yeah, so what? And I blame it on a auto accident that I had 8 years ago. I had a concussion, and then I had COVID a little over a year ago. And I think I'm dealing with intermittent um, long COVID situation. I literally rewrote a book twice, and I discovered it is just one of those little clues. Why did I write this twice? Oh, I totally forgot about the first one, which I launched into a thing on my weekend in the middle of the night. I spent hours just pouring myself into it, went to bed, woke up, and forgot about that I did any of that the night before. That's how it shows up for me. Not all the time, not all the time. So anyway, this is why I kind of switched to doing bots because you adapt. You adapt. So anyway, this spreadsheet's available right now. And what you do is you go, you log in to your browser with your Gmail account. If you don't have Gmail, get one. If you hate Google, doesn't matter. Go get a free account to get access to the sheet. You can convert it to an Excel spreadsheet or whatever you want, but that's on you. I'm not going to take my time to try to appease everybody. Google works. It's free. A homeless person can do this, and that's my baseline. If it won't work for a homeless person, then it's probably or a homeless person can't get there to make it work, then I'm probably not gonna teach it because it needs to work for everybody. Laws, life, liberty, pursuit, happiness needs to be able to work for everybody in our society. So, that's just I'm kind of stickler for that. The more I think about it, the older I get, the more I observe how we make our decisions. We need to be better stewards. Our people who are in charge of governance need to think a little bit deeper, but they're not. Some are, but most aren't. It's a popularity contest, and we should be governed by something better than that. All right. So you can come in here and you can explore cycles, right? So like, when I'm trading like beast mode, I usually do 30% ROIs on the trades. But it's more complicated than this, but I can like, you know, looks like you can double your money in three days. Makes sense, a third, a third, a third. It's actually more like 6 days because you don't wanna necessarily be trading your entire portfolio. That's how fast it can be, right? Right now, my goal is 2% a day on average. My actual is a little bit higher than that, but, this tells me it takes about 36 days to double my money, and I think I'm on track to that. Alright, that's what this is for. I know this is quick and dirty. I do a deep dive in it here. Once I know how long it takes to double my money, right? Mission 1 is usually your hardest. Now, just keep in mind, if you read on the bottom of the scrolling screen, it says disclaimer, not financial, legal, or tax advice before I get into showing you this stuff, right? Entertainment purposes only. And you know what? I need to take a drink of water and I'm going to play my disclaimer while I do this. We'll come back to the spreadsheet. I'll finish up this little tour and we'll wrap up. All right. Why do we do those things and these disclaimers? Because I live in America and because of fear and scarcity, people are we're predatory. Fear and scarcity results in predatory behaviors. And so people are always looking to be sued or fighting lawsuits, blah, 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 blah. So there's a course on about law that I took, pro se stuff on how to win and how to beat attorneys and law firms. And I've been very successful with that whenever I've been menaced or threatened. I've been in business for myself and all sorts of things. And so I've learned a lot over the last 20 years dealing with law because I had no other choice. Like if you're in for a foreclosure, I could probably give you some good ideas. If you're dealing with a creditor lawsuit, I could probably give you some good ideas in terms of strategy. But no one outside of a licensed attorney or financial advisor wants to give you any kind of advice. And even then, they don't want you as a client unless you can pony up a ton of money. Why? Because they don't want the liability. Because if you're in a distress situation anyway and things melt down, right? You're going to sue them and you're going to go after their errors and omissions insurance. So they won't even talk to you. They probably won't even tell you what possible strategies there are. I went through this off early on because I have a subscription for legal services and stuff, and their advice really, really isn't that good, and they're lazy. And I went through a thing with someone, I can't talk about it because I agreed not to, for the settlement, made $1,000, and it was because of how they used my credit information, and they ignored me, and that was a mistake. I'm dealing with a thing where I received a notice of over some stuff, and I'm like, I turn into a porcupine or a puffer fish. Yeah, so the shark that thinks he's gonna get an easy meal will die if they try to eat me. Because I know what my rights are as a US citizen. I know how the process works because the process was designed for you and me as US citizens to not need a lawyer in order to defend or fight back. Now, if you get arrested for a crime or something like that, you should get a lawyer. But you know what? If you know how the process works, you can make sure your lawyer's not screwing you. Just because they're licensed and bonded and passed an exam doesn't mean they're ethical people, or nor does it mean that they're not lazy or know what they're doing. And that really shows up in family law. But anyway, it's just I've got the resources for you, especially if you're a DV situation. This is a segue. To learn how to do that all by yourself. It's about 25 hours, 24 hours worth of training. Takes you about a week to go through it, and you will never be afraid of law for general purposes anyway. It's usually a weapon and tool of the wealthy. It just is what it is. Well, fortunately for you, if you come under the scrutiny of somebody or some organization or some corporation, you can make it very, very painful for them by exercising your rights. All right. And we'll talk about that a little bit. In fact, let me finish the spreadsheet. So here, we did the cycle thing, right? So I said 36 cycles. I'm not going to recap if you're just tuning in. Probably, no, there's no one watching this right now. So people will watch this later. 36 days. Um, Hmm. April 2020, a little over a year from now, um, at 2%, starting with $250, you cross the $1,000,000 mark. Is that real, David? I don't know, you tell me. I'm doing it with or without your permission. So, and I've got several of these missions going on at the same time. So one of them I started with $5, an idea, and got to halfway between 10 and 11. Actually started from 0. I was loaned $5. It's a long story. I've shared it many times. And somewhere around $7,500 in a couple months. And then the FTX fiasco, rich pricks, not $28 billion net worth wasn't good enough for them. And living in their own little sexual commune in the Bahamas wasn't good enough for them. They needed to defraud people. And it's just like, really? And we all deal with it. He's never going to pay me the money that I lost on one of my trades from that. I was a little bit too optimistic because the bull run was about, we were all been waiting a year for this bull run. I hopped on it hard and fast, and I got stuck in one trade, another one. I just finally just said, you know what, I'm just going to let it go and just reboot that particular mission. Yeah, it is what it is. And you can do that without crying or needing therapy or drugs when you feel financially empowered. Like, whatever. That's what empowerment is, right? So let's say, for whatever reason, I say something on here and my government renditions me down to Guantanamo Bay and they torture me and they steal all my assets and I get released and they steal my citizenship and they kick me out and they're going to give me a ticket to go anywhere in the world as a refugee. No, maybe I'll go to Dubai or somewhere. You know where I'll go? I'll go somewhere where I've got the freedom as a U.S. citizen to be on, or as a refugee to be on Binance. Why? Because they're the biggest, baddest exchange in the world with the highest leverage. We were all kicked off U.S. citizens in 2016 after someone got elected. Imagine that. MAGA. Yeah. Well, you took away my rights and freedoms, you prick. All right. Not that I get opinionated. And what's kind of sad I'll confess it. I voted for the guy. Why? Because he's got the same birthday as I do. I didn't attend any of his rallies. I didn't really understand what was going on. But he said some things as a businessman that I, as a businessman, said, well, yeah, if we had a businessman running things, we'd be managing our assets as a country better, right? And instead of being exploited, the public resources being exploited for private profits, he's gonna probably cancel all those lease contracts and renegotiate it. So instead of an oil company making billions or trillions of dollars a year, right? They'll get 4% instead of the US citizen, instead of them paying like a $70 a year lease or something. I mean, just stupid stuff, right? And instead of us paying taxes, we would actually get dividend checks. Yeah. It's not about universal basic income. This is capitalism, my friend. So, yeah, well, we're not managed by capitalism. We have a socialistic pipeline of wealth going to already wealthy people, and our government's a conduit for it. And then we pay for it because the little people are taxed. All right. So I thought maybe, huh, he's going to bring in the best minds. He thought, oh, I thought, well, Harvard University, when he was talking about healthcare, he was basically talking about a single payer. He was, and I thought, well, Harvard University, back when Obama was, I'm sorry, getting political, did a study, our best minds. I thought, well, if he does that, and he didn't do any of that. Folks that hate him kind of hate him for valid reasons, but you know, just didn't honor his word. So I was very, very disappointed. And then I got kicked off from Binance, and that just pissed me off because it disrupted my basic rights to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness as a U.S. citizen. So I've not been happy with anyone that's been elected, right? And you know, I could go on and on politically, but that's not what this is about. We have to deal with the fact of what is what is. I'm telling you, and I keep telling this to friends of mine. I've got friends on all sides of the aisle and the non-aisle. Civil war, overthrowing your government, all that stuff is not the way to do it. We're too big. We have 50 separate armies in 50 separate states. I mean, seriously, it's called the United States for a reason. We are impossible to conquer without someone having bigger, badder technology than what we have, and we outspend the entire world 100 to 1. There's a reason why we dominate, right? We just don't have good stewardship. We've got a good system, and that system was based on some assumptions that no longer are valid. And the assumption is that the candidates themselves are honorable people. And we've dealt with this in cycles since our founding. So, what's the solution? Well, we train people who are wealthy and power that they don't have to live in fear and scarcity. They don't have to be obsessed with power. And we can, it all boils down to what we learned from Wolf of Wall Street. I hate to say it. Especially for men, maybe not women so much. I don't know, I'm not a woman, so I can't speak for women, so ladies, don't hate on me. But for the dudes, it always, especially if they're younger, it always boils down to what? Cocaine and hookers. If you doubt that, go watch Wolf of Wall Street, and if you doubt it even further, that only showed a little bit. Listen to the audiobook or read the unabridged, or you know what I'm saying? Listen to the unabridged audiobook of the actual story. The movie was just a sampling of the reality, and that was reality, which is why it was so interesting. That is the reality of what goes on and why men seek power, because they wanna be able to do stuff like that. That's why, after he had this exposure and he was really upset because his character was attacked, he showed up to work and he had lines of young men wanting to work for him, and he thought, "What? I thought exposed me as being this really bad person," and everyone why? Wealth and power. Why? Fear, scarcity, 'cause we manufacture it, which makes us hungry. We're willing to do anything. In certain parts of the world, that anything includes people selling their daughters into prostitution. And then if the daughter gets caught, she usually gets raped and then executed. And it was probably her dad that they needed extra money, and they're living in such poverty. It's just one of this is something that the United States, we evolved out of that. There's a lot of horrific things that are historic. If you're not a student of history, you don't realize that every one of our problems that we are facing is nothing new. And we're actually doing better than we have in history in certain areas. And not so much in others. Anyway, that's all kind of the POTU stuff, and I get into that, I throw out tidbits, I get on segues. Ever since I had that car collision 8 years ago, getting distracted, not being able to stay on point is part of it, and I've just accepted it, and if you just gotta have to accept it and deal with it too, and you don't have to, you can go elsewhere if you don't like it. I can't some days are better than others. But what I'm really, really good at is doing these cycles and creating these spreadsheets. Like this spreadsheet has evolved over actually a couple of years because a version of this is what I use for trading. It's a guide, right? And this is just the blank one. This is the one that's available to you. And so anyway, you join the Patreon, you open up your account, you click on the link, you open this up, and then you make a copy. That's all you do. And then you work on it. If you don't like XRP, you can use anything you want, whatever. I'm trading on KuCoin because they have a bot system built into the exchange. But if you're on another exchange through APIs, you could like get a subscription to 3 commas, and they have a variety of different types of bots. But on Coinbase, they have a futures bot, which gives you access up to 10x leverage. I think I'm trading with 5x leverage right now, right in the middle. All right. So that's the spreadsheet. And is there anything else on here? I added links, like, in the spreadsheet. And these are basically the same links that I think are in the description. I think Twitch cuts off the links. So go to YouTube. I added the health stuff, which is, after we do the market thing, I'll talk about the Octavia Goddess project. And the Facebook link. If you hate Facebook, I get it, which is why I added the other link. You go right there. My recommendation there, though, is set up an account for free. Look around, but don't buy anything. Seriously, don't. Reach out to me, or actually reach out to Diana, or reach out to me, and I'll facilitate a connection. And 'cause there's too much there on the site. It's like going to the store. It's a grocery store for healthy food products. And depending on what your goals are, your current health conditions, whatever, it could be everything. You want to lose weight, you want to gain weight, you just want to maintain your weight, you want to make sure you got a nutritional baseline. You're too busy to eat properly, so you need to figure out some stuff, and you don't want to be limited to one type of shake. Man, we got you covered. It's just incredible. Plus, backed on 41 years of science and research. Originally, it was a prescription thing. You had to be prescribed it. That's how effective it is. Okay, so I mentioned this before, and I'm gonna bring this up here. Get rid of this bank CD things. Get rid of this. I have a website. I mentioned this a couple times. So this is more. I've had this for years. It's fairly expensive. It's a vanity page of sorts, but I'll tell you why I set it up. I've been in the website businessy thing for over since the mid '90s. Not going to go into that story. I've got a toolbox, which makes me a really good life coach or consultant. I spent most of my life as a consultant. I've got a huge toolbox of stuff that does and doesn't work. So I've published some articles. So I've gone through this multiple times in my life, and I've learned how to fight back. So I wrote a article on credit collection lawsuits, how to fight back in the U.S. And to the best of my understanding, this information is basically ageless. It's timeless. Anyway, it took to work on a page like this. It really looks nice, right? But it is a ton of work to create one article. It's just a ton of work. But there's resources in here, right? So, well, let's go through it. So, this I think I set this up as an affiliate link, but I think this goes to Amazon. Hopefully, it's still available. I won't make any money off it at all, but this is probably one of the best books ever on how to defend yourself if you're dealing with credit card lawsuits. I know the cover is horrible. You might even be able to find it. You might be able to find it as a PDF out there. It's been around for a while, but it is really, really good. The strategy there is huge. And then this one, How to Win in Court. Um, Listen, like 90% when someone sues you, a creditor, they're usually like a D or C lawyer that barely passed the bar. They're like, sorry if I've had 'em, they're not bad people. They're just doing a job, but the point is, this is this is where I've gone through. Yeah, it's $250. Oh, that hasn't changed in 20 years. I've purchased this twice myself because it turned into a subscription. Originally, it was a downloadable course, and now it's like an annual subscription. But if you this is like, and I know that the site's kind of cheesy, but this will if you go through this course, you'll never be afraid of dealing with legal stuff. You'll know how to respond to any threat, any implied threat ever, and you'll be incredibly effective. Anyway, it's just excellent. And yeah, that's an affiliate link there too. You know what's kind of funny about this? Oh, I need to get rid of these. I don't even know what wallets those go to. So don't tip me there. I gotta go back and edit this stuff. I don't want money in through Venmo. Oh, so I gotta go back and edit this. But I don't know, when did I publish this? When did I publish this? Does it tell me? 2019. I published this actually before 2019, but I think I updated it. I need to update it again. Oh, update. See, it says updated December 27th, 2019. So this was for I usually get the call from friends, what do I do? And then what I would do is see all this information. I would explain all this to them. They can't afford to hire me at $1,500 an hour or whatever it is I'm charging, or $300 an hour, or $150 an hour, whatever it is, right? They can't, because they're in a defined chance. So what do? I coach them through this, not giving them legal advice because I don't want to be on the hook for their stuff, right? And their friends, and then they, not one of them has ever bought off this link. I have not made one commission off from any of these links in here. Not one. I don't know why that is. It's kind of wild. What's weird about this is about 10 people a month actually come here and read this. And I think they get enough information here to know what to do. So anyway, just letting you know, affiliate sales, it's not my thing. I'm not any good at it. Could I get good at it? Probably. Am I playing with it? Yeah. So I have a little thing about diabetes, and post coming soon. Oh, I just got bored with having to format stuff. Um, I got a message to the ruling class here. DV, domestic violence and abuse. So I updated this in 22. I took a deep dive in this in my former relationship, and it has always been on my heart because I did a project that literally, like, 7 days before my auto accident scrambled my brain, and I'm still dealing with it, I believe, but it was like 3 years of just get up, go to work, come home, get up, go to work, come home, just trying to keep the job that I had after that car accident. I had a huge project where I wanted to raise like $200 million to reverse over 4,000 pieces of case law that is against the innocent party, usually moms, in domestic violence, family court. It's a thing. It's a $4.8 billion industry that I ran into. And anyway, I just decided to leave it alone, but I eventually wrote this up. And there's some really good information in here about how to deal with it. It breaks my heart every time I read it because it represents a dream of mine that I had that um, was killed. And I did update this one with the cryptocurrency codes. So Elon, if you go through my billionaire, there's a thing on there, note to billionaires. If you go through that, decide to revolutionize your life, you can just help me retire instantly and bless me through these QR codes here: PayPal, Venmo, Author, and these different. Oh, look at all this! Look at all. I probably shouldn't have Smart Chain anymore. They're in trouble right now, right? But anyway, so this is my little vanity page. And no, I've never received a dime for any of the years of helping people, saving people's houses, from foreclosure. All those people that I've helped never received a dime. Yeah, I've done pre-foreclosures, like, before it was a thing, I did pre-foreclosures and created my own system. I bought a system, and the system was inadequate. I redid all the legal paperwork, and then, private equity took that all over, so, you know, just, it is what it is. So, anyway, that I put that spreadsheet, not that sheet, I put it in there. Did I put it in here? I thought I put it in there. The gifting codes here. I need to fix this. Anyway, well, you can get to her through this gifting code. So if you go here, it takes you to my authoring site. You can go to all the blog posts from there. Why are these pictures all blurred out? Oh, they're just high quality pictures. Billionaire, where's your stewardship? Ruling classes. This has kind of been a recurring theme for me, wanting to change our world for the better. But anyway, there's my little site. So anyway, this spreadsheet, which is a great tool, it's a business plan to take you from wherever you are with bots to wealth without a whole lot of risk. There's some risk, right? Won't lie to you. But if you're tuned in and you're part of the DDTC, I'm going to be releasing training. If you're watching these things, I actually did a training on this, and my next step is to actually create the actual training for that spreadsheet, not as a cast, but actually as a training module. So you know how to use it and understand some certain things so you don't get hurt financially working through that plan. I know everyone's kind of in a rush, but you don't need to be in a rush. All right. So market. Let's wrap up with this, and then we'll do Diana's thing. Maybe I should test something out. We're gonna do a little thing with Diana here, and so let me see if I can switch gears. Oh, I can. Look at this. So this is just a cute little thing. Just we're getting near the end of wrapping up here. I didn't know I could do 3. Well, that was kind of wild. Let's try that again. That's better. Like the sound. I love that. All right. This was a new feature I tried out today, so I'm sorry I'm like a child with a new toy. All right, I'm into toys. Okay, so, that didn't come out right. Shout out to Succubus if you're ever watching this. That's another story for another thing. "What? Succubus? What are you talking about? You worship evil?" "No, I do not." Uh, yeah, don't even get me started. I've got a whole concept. So here's the market. I'm looking at XRP because that's what I'm working with my bots. So yesterday, this was happening, and then I started a bot while I was at work, and then it crashed. So I'm upside down in my bot. Your number one fear, being upside down. Most people, if they're doing any other kind of trading, they probably just they programmed in their stop loss. Remember, never trade without a stop loss. I disagree with that, by the way. Depends on your plan. You should trade. So, like, wow, I'm really upside down. But I've scalped $3.73. So what is that? 3.73 divided by. So just under 1% ROI scalped. I'm not excited about it. I'm not excited about it. Did I know I was going to go upside down? Yeah. Could I have not gone upside down? Yeah. What I should have done is I should have set a trap. Um, Actually, probably based on the 6 hour, I should have set a trap down here, and I would have gotten in, and I'd be probably in profit right now. But it looks like it's going to push down further for a little while. I might be stuck in that trade till next week or next month. I don't know. It really doesn't matter to me because, I mean, I've got a bot that's upside down. It's been upside down for a year, but it keeps scalping and building up profits because it's a long-term process. I got one bot, and it's in a tax deferred thing. Not deferred, it's a tax-free Roth thing that I set up with that took advantage of lunacy. And at last I looked, and this was, I don't know, like 6 months ago, it had scalped over $2,000 in USDT just from the price action from lunacy. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Considering that I saw it collapse and I threw $50 at it as a gamble and made out like a bandit. Yeah, so just you learn these things over time. People that are with me learn these cool little things. Yeah, everyone lost money in lunacy, but I saw it happen. I saw it starting at work, and it got to a point where I couldn't even see what the price was, and I just threw $50 at it, and 3 minutes later, my account value jumped to $18,000 more. Now that's some crazy stuff, and crazy stuff happens in crypto, but I can't repeat that. I can't duplicate that reliably. I see someone has joined us. Hello, somebody. Where are you from? Who are we? Oh, my author page on Facebook. Well, that's kind of cool. I think you're the first person to ever tune in from there. So shout out. Go back and restart from the beginning. Some really cool stuff in this episode. And I did a trading episode about how to get started and finding money to invest last night. So just let you know, I can't see who you are. And if you were to send me a chat, I can't see who you are, just says Facebook person. So I'm not into the live chat Q&A thing yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I'm just wrapping up if you're tuning in. So I'm talking about the markets right now. So if that's what you came here for, perfect timing. I keep looking at myself, the camera's here. Sorry about I'm still new at this sort of stuff. So what happened? My bond, I'm upside down. Like, it's scalped 1%, but I think I'm upside down like 7%. But, my trading range is all the way down to like here, right? And then all the way up to like 40. So I'm expecting it to bounce around. And while it's bouncing around, this is the difference between a bot and live trading, right? So if I was high leverage trading, right, I would have wanted to like get in here and then get out, in and out. In fact, write this down if you want a tip, if you want to do like 100x or better trading while you still can as a US citizen if you're from the United States. Um, I've never heard this said before, but your risk is time in the market. So if you can minimize your time in the market, you minimize the risk of, let's say, someone shutting down a power grid and causing a spike, or some news announcement, or Elon doing a tweet, or some bank failing, or whatever. You can't count on that. That's why these patterns that you see, right, don't really work. They show you cycles, right? Cycles happen, but you can't guarantee because all of a sudden waterfalls happen. And if you know how to take advantage of them, that takes time and experience. I can give you like a roadmap, but you're going to have to get in and do the stuff. What's great about crypto, and I proved it last year, is you can get in with zero. It doesn't get any. You can't get in less than zero. Stocks or the e-minis, it's like, yeah, okay, so like stocks and some of the apps, you can start with zero, right? Throw $5 in, right? But, if you wanna get into, like, the leverage stuff, it's like I found one place where it takes, like, $100 minimum, which is I remember when it was, like, 2 grand to open up a basic brokerage account, and then you had to call in to put in your order, and then yeah, and then they came with online, it was, like, $500, and, I did pretty well during Y2K type of thing, so I see someone else has joined us here. Welcome, who has joined us, another person on the 2 people on my Facebook authoring site. That's incredible. Shout out. So if you're just tuning in, you really missed some good stuff. I'm literally just wrapping up. And I did a training last night about how to get started, where to find money to invest, blah, blah, blah. And over the weekend, I did a deep dive training on bots. And today I released the bot spreadsheets on Patreon for folks to look at. Oh yeah, well, what is that? Well, it's $5. Now, if you are a homeless person, you can't afford that, PM me and we'll work something out because I've worked with anybody. I've been doing this for free for 2 years for friends and family. So I just need to free up my time so I can take these hours of content and then outsource it to people to turn it into training courses. So someone has left. I must have bored them or they've heard this before. So anyway, I just thought I'd talk directly to someone showing up. All right. So wrapping up, I was going to wrap up with health stuff. So I was going to, so this is Diana's thing. It's time efficient for me. A lot of folks just, we have a nutrition issue. What good is wealth without health? What good is wealth if you are in a bad relationship? It's horrible, which is why it says wealth and health, but it really needs to be wealth, health, and relationships. But really, it's just for marketing. I just had to keep it simple. So I'm going to play her little thing. This is something she accomplished. I don't have time to deal with the health piece of it other than I'm a client myself. And let's see here. I have to just bring it up. Local video. I'm just going to play this. This is kind of cool. This is her story. It's about a minute. And it's working today. Oh, sorry about that. So what's really cool, I like to point out, is this is a VR headset setup because we started that anyway. We started actually during COVID and stuff. I'm not going to get into all that, but anyway, she did that without exercise. That transformation happened just through good nutrition and having a health coach. So anyway, let's just turn that off and turn this back on. And that's something we're going to do when we retire. So we have a plan for that. So, is there anything else I want to talk about today with this? The markets we're above a trillion and growing, so money's flowing back in. What's going to happen with XRP right now, and why am I trading XRP? Because XRP is basically in this big thing with the United States government, been for years, but they're being used by Saudi and other places outside the U.S. for cross-border transactions. It's a great project. It was actually one of the first cryptos I ever purchased. I got it for 4 cents. Yeah, way back in the day when I didn't know much of anything. And because of that, it's not subjected as much to the inflows and outflows of massive amounts of capital because big money is kind of flowing in and out of Bitcoin. Ethereum, they're kind of being a little skeptical because the SEC's every once in a while they're saying, well, 1 minute it's not of this, and next minute it's that. It's just this is a threat to the old banking system that takes days, is very expensive and very archaic, and they're trying to protect something that is going to go away with or without their permission. Which is why we all got kicked off from Binance. They don't want U.S. citizens becoming wealthy. When you have access to leverage, you can, as I demonstrate in the spreadsheets, you can create wealth. You can't do it with a CD. You can perpetuate wealth, like the U.S. stock market and stuff, right? Unless you learn how to trade or stuff, it's hard to become wealthy in America. The odds are just stacked against you. You don't have access to leverage. And if you're not a qualified investor, you don't have access to leverage, except for, I guess, through options, sort of, kind of, if you can get qualified for it, right? And then it's buying, instead of a perpetual contract, it's a contract with a countdown timer. 90% of those things expire worthless, right? But the people who write the options, wealthy people, they never lose in that game, right? So it's a rigged system, but you're financially discriminated against. I have a whole video about that on YouTube. So go watch that and what, you should write in about, you should complain about. But it's worse for crypto because to be a qualified investor in the stock market, you'd have to have like $1 million of assets or something and $250,000 a year job there's these criteria. In crypto, it's $10 million. I kid you not. So big money doesn't want the little people to become wealthy. And I'm like, no, this is wrong. I'm a US citizen. It's in our blood. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Why are you interfering with my and my fellow citizens' pursuit of happiness? So that's kind of I got a pet peeve around that. And I'm loud and proud about it. And I'm just, we should be marching in the streets over, it, but you know what? This has existed from before I was born. I'm going to be 59 years old. We just gotten used to it. So this is all about empowering you to start from wherever you are, even if you're homeless, and become financially empowered and wealthy. And if you have to immigrate to another country or you become a refugee because, I don't know, they take over the country, right? That 30% that wants to take over the country and kick everyone out who doesn't believe the way they do. Well, maybe that's me. Well, I'm researching countries and where I want to go, where I have the freedom. My priority is the freedom to trade on Binance. How's that? And that's cool. That's empowerment. Sovereignty is at the border. They've frozen all my accounts. They've taken all the cash out of my wallet. Maybe they left me with $20. They take my ID. They take my passport. They kick me out. They take my cell phone. Actually, they don't even do that. They usually let you have your cell phone, so that would be a bonus, right? I don't necessarily need cell service. I just need Wi-Fi. Well, once I go to wherever I need to be and immigrate and fill out the paperwork and get the right to sweep floors or whatever I have to do as an immigrant, I can unlock my resources. That's called sovereignty because they don't know where it is in the world. They don't have access to it. They can't control it. That's why they're fighting so hard and creating so much propaganda against crypto because it's global. Little citizens in different parts of the world can become financially free and their government can't stop them. And all the governments in the world are working their asses off to prevent that from happening. But I think that's dumb. I think we are indigenous to planet Earth and we have to start thinking that way, right? Everyone believes in some kind of divine creator of all that is. And well, then that divine creator created all of it, right? So shouldn't you have civil rights for all of it? Shouldn't you have the right to live wherever you want? Yeah. We are thinking so small because of fear and scarcity from thousands of years ago. We're letting those people who would probably burn me at the stake for having a cell phone today, right? Dictate how we rule our world, and it's dumb. Anyway, so that's the POTU part of this. I'm on a mission to like inspire people not to give up on their beliefs, but to like dig a little deeper and say, listen, they had the freedom to create a better world based on where their world was. We should just learn from them and just say, what do we know now? And let's create what's next. Our planet's too small. And we have certain places in our planet where we literally have the ability to press a button and we're all gone. And it's scary. And we don't need to live that way anymore. The ruling elite don't need to be thinking that way. They're thinking and making decisions based on fear and scarcity. I call it peasant minded thinking. You're going to hear it over and over again. Just get used to it. But that's why they make the decisions that they do. That's why we manufacture poverty so they can have power and control because they are afraid. And we live in a planet so full of water, we actually polluted to such a point we have to buy bottled water if we want to be healthy. Why? So that already wealthy people can make more money off from us. It's just crazy, right? So violence isn't the answer. Education is. We need to train the ruling elite how to be good stewards. And anyway, I'm going to be getting into all that. And more of that. You're going to hear it over and over again. Why? Because repetition is how we learn, right? SMI out of Waco, Texas. Shout out. I used to be an SMI. It was my first franchise business when I was like 19, 20 years old. Paul J. Meyer, space repetition, mental conditioning. This is about you taking control of it versus being subjugated to it. We have too many people in the world subjugated to it instead of being in control of it. So that's what DDTC is all about. I'm not here to create a cult where I'm making billions of dollars off from everybody. I'm here to create an organization long term that are individually financially empowered. They don't need me. They don't need to form teams. They don't need to consolidate wealth, although I can teach that. I have a different model, but they can become influencers and help change our world because I can't do it alone. Well, I can plant seeds. I'm planting seeds. Everyone that tunes in, it's the seeds are planted. So that's where I'm at. So everyone have a great day. I've got to get ready for my day job here, and I will end it with the affirmations. And if you need to rewatch this, go do it on YouTube. Like and subscribe because eventually it'll get monetized. And I'm trying to get everyone in alignment there because it does have a monetization engine. So therefore, if you tune in, you're automatically financially supporting the mission. Anywhere else, you're not. So I'm trying to right now. I'm broadcasting to a lot of different places, and I released the Patreon spreadsheets. I dropped content in today finally. So thank you, Cindy, for nudging me and helping me realize, oh, I better get this going. So if some people sign up, they have access to stuff. So she is so awesome. I know awesome people. I want to build an organization of awesome people, a global organization, and I want to train leadership. And leadership could be just as simple as you sitting around in your coffee shop teaching people how to manage their budgets. I don't know what your role or calling, but you've come here for a reason. This is resonating for you for a reason. So anyway, here we go. I'm going to do my little wrap up stuff. Now, here all about empowerment. All about empower. I love that little clip of video. So I'm going to hit my this last little thing. I've been kind of having fun playing with that, and I usually have a few last words for those that hang out towards the end. I don't know. I think I really said everything I needed to say today. A lot of cool things are coming together. I've got 2 years worth of documentation that I can turn into training courses. In the last week alone, I've recorded, I don't know, maybe 20 hours worth of stuff. And out of the 20 hours worth of stuff, there's probably one or two entire courses of knowledge there, but I don't have the time to edit them. But I'm going to work on the bot things. I'm going to get that one out because I think that's the starting point. Because I can teach people how to safely enter the bots without them having to just they don't have to master their mind game. Now, trading is a different animal, 100x, 200x leverage. Trading with leverage, that's a mind game thing. And you're going to hit a wall. Usually around when you start having to make $10,000 trades at high leverage, you're going to hit that wall. It's a hard wall. It's a big deal in your mind. You have to reach a certain point of not living in fear and scarcity to do that, and that's hard for people. But bots, you just have to figure out the range, and that's pretty easy. And even if it goes against you for a little while, you just need to wait it out. And you can just start another bot process. And anyway, it's very simple. Anyone can do it. Is it slower? Yeah, you're not going to complete a mission one in 6 days with a bot. It's probably going to take, well, based on the data I've been looking at and showing so far, I'm almost there, right? It looks like it's going to be like 36 to 40 days. And I've been getting better, and I haven't created the system yet, but I've created the tool to develop and fine tune the system. So as I get better, I can give you better tips. But right now, getting started is so easy. But you can't get started with free with a bot. I think the lowest is like $50. I should probably do a little research into that. I started with like 200, and I just decided to start the missions process. I mean, I began playing with the bots like 2 years ago, and then I started giving it more attention last year. And then I just started a mission one with $250 based on what I learned with the previous 4 or 5 months of testing. And, man, it's working. and it's on track. And then it's probably about a 12 to 14-month mission to complete like 12 missions, starting with $250, which crosses the $1 million mark based on actual data, not based on my guessing or, well, if everything goes right. Nothing has been going right the last month. And all the data I have is during the last month when nothing has been going right, which is really good data to have, but it's my data. It's not your data. This whole DDTC thing is training about giving you the confidence and the structure to get started. And you can put the structure together basically for free and then get a little plan, get your feet wet and get some data based on reality. And you start putting the numbers in, and the spreadsheet will just project out for you, just a ballpark, not super accurate, just an idea. And you start seeing the light at the end of your financial tunnel, which is why I play this clip all the time. A real way out. And I'm not going to charge you $3,000 for this. I'm going to charge you $333,333.33, which is basically 6.66% of you completing mission 20, starting with $5. I know it sounds like a lot of money, but no, you get access to that, all of that, or you will be getting, I'll be releasing all that training over time just by being a Patreon subscriber. And if you can't afford the $5 a month, reach out to me and we'll make it work because I'm not going to hold back anybody. Seriously, it's more important to me that you are a decent human being wanting to get it done because our world needs decent human beings that are becoming financially empowered. And that's my vision. And I'm going to probably spend the rest of my life doing this. And I needed a purpose moving forward because Diane and I are planning on retiring in about 14 months. So if you're wondering why the timeline is, well, because I'm kind of working backwards from a timeline. So that's why. And I have more than one mission going at the same time. And I have more than one project going on at the same time because it's not a matter of if or when. And I'm having a lot of fun today because I could be abducted by aliens, right? So I need to live today. I need to enjoy today, right? Today's got to be a good day because it could be my last day. And that's a way of life. It's a way of thinking. And this is part of what DATC is. And I've been under the gun. I've lost properties to foreclosures. I've been taken advantage by business people. I've missed a loophole in a contract and have someone exploit it against me. All this stuff. I've had creditors sue me. I've dealt with bad relationships. I've dealt with gaslighting. I've seen it all. It's just, and at the higher levels too. I've seen entire banking departments set up for the sole purpose of screwing millionaires and billionaires. And one of my business partners in a project was key instrumental in shutting one of them down out of Texas. Oh, it was out of Texas. Imagine that. And it was one of the big banks, but it was just a department, you know, it made big news in that local region. But anyway, I can talk about her because she's passed. She died in a car accident. But she was the key person that got the insider information and the data that the FBI was able to move on this bank from the inside. I don't think they ever figured out who it was. I knew who it was because I helped coach her through it. Kind of proud of it. One of the reasons why I won't do business with certain banks. In fact, I recommend friends don't let friends do banks other than like credit unions because, well, banks don't even invest in the US anymore. All your money is invested outside the US. Does not help you or your community unless you're in North Dakota because they have their own bank. Um, yeah, your credit unions invest locally. There's no other reason for that. Plus lower fees, less liability. This is the first time I've actually talked about that. So you got a bonus. All right, everybody, have a good day. I got to get ready for my day job or my swing shift job, which I enjoy. I'm a tech nerd and I work with mainframes. And it's service work too. And I get a pension. So I get a plan B if all else fails. I have a little bit of a pension. So that's kind of cool. We don't have much of that anymore. But it's strategic. A lot of folks say, when should I leave my relationship? What should I do for a job? I don't know what to do for a living. I'm young. Should I get in business? Blah, blah. And I've got book lists and I can make references and I'm usually doing the one-on-one life coaching thing. I just don't have time for it. And in order to change my world, I need to reach a lot of people. So my first goal is 3,333 Patreon subscribers, but the real goal is 33,333 because at that level, I can start outsourcing And I don't want free I don't want volunteers. I wanna literally create jobs and then turn them into volunteers so they don't need the job anymore, but they still wanna do it. But I'll take financially independent volunteers. How's that? I have a whole model for this. I have a whole model for this called getting promoted as to minimum wage. It'll solve most businesses' problems, and I wrote that up like 20 years ago, and, it's just I have to I create things, I solve problems, that's my talent. Staying focused, not so much, not since the auto accident years ago, and then I'm having intermittent things since long COVID, which is why I switched to bots. All of it serves me because now I have a safer, better, more reliable plan that will get me to where I'm going. Not as fun, not as exciting as trading 100x or 200x. I still do that. Diana's still doing that. But it requires a level of focus that with all the things I'm trying to get done, I need to focus on peace of mind. And a lot of folks, well, how do you get peace of mind, David? I'd really like that. Well, maybe I'll talk about that and devote a show to that. All right, everyone, have a great day. Have a great afternoon. I'm trying to do these things twice a day. It's just you wanna know what the schedule is, not a set schedule yet. I don't know if I can maintain this cadence, but when I get up in the morning, which is around 11, noonish, so somewhere around the middle of the day, that's my morning. This is the morning one. And after work at night, somewhere after midnight, I wanna do a market check-in. And because usually in the evening is when I set up my bots, and then during the day, depending on how the day goes, I exit the bots. And then there's some of this information is gonna be repetitive. I'm gonna broadcast it to everywhere for a while until we get the Patreon membership. Everyone knows that I'm out here, and then I'm gonna, like, dial it down to YouTube and, for the monetization piece, so people can tune in, and then while they're tuning in, they're actually supporting the project too. So that's the bigger plan. It's all about you. I want you to get the results. It doesn't matter. The best thing for me to do is not do this, not waste my time on this, and just do trading instead. I'd grow faster, but it's like, I what good is being a millionaire or a billionaire in this world if you're worried about someone nuking us every day? We've got to reach everybody, and we can't do that without teaching the principles they already know. They just don't know how to apply those principles to their lives. In every single Russian citizen. Oh, someone tuned in. Sorry, you kinda missed it on Twitch. Just rewatch this from the beginning. If you do that for me on YouTube, it helps with the data. Some really good stuff in here, and I did a training last night, but I released the spreadsheets today. So you tune in just as I'm signing off. So, good stuff. I did a lot of stuff over the weekend too. And anyway, just, if you do rewatch and rewind, please do it, on YouTube for me. It just helps. All right, everybody. I'm gonna be doing another one, tonight, probably sometime after midnight. We'll be checking in, and we'll see what happens between now and then in the markets. All right, everyone, have a